What's happening, everyone? TomGorian here. Welcome to episode 21 of the F124 Alpine to Glory. Today we are here getting ready for race 5 of the second season here in Miami Gardens. It's the Miami Grand Prix and we are coming off 2 DNFs, as you can see. One in Australia and also the other one in China. No points whatsoever in the last 2 races, and we really need to get a good result here today in Miami if we want to compete against Max Verstappen and also try and challenge for the World Championship. We are currently, just under 60 points behind Verstappen as we enter Miami. It's going to be another sprint race weekend, so hopefully we can bag maximum points or try and get a decent amount as we enter the second half of the second fourth of this season. We need to get some durability upgrades because the fact that we had 2 DNFs in the last 2 races pretty much has opened our eyes as far as how bad our durability is. We're going to try and improve our MGUK, get that upgraded onto the car, and yeah, nothing really on the timeline. We did have that secret meeting with McLaren in the last episode, so let's see where that takes us in the future. However, let's talk about the future. Let's talk about now. It's time to get our championship back on track here in Miami.
Welcome to today's sprint. This is shaping up to be another fantastic weekend.
Let's run you through the driver grid order.
And we welcome you to the commentary box.
So here we go, getting ready for the sprint. Apparently it's going to be raining towards the end of the race, so it looks like we might have to fit on the intermediates. Maybe if the rain isn't that heavy, hopefully we can stick it out on to the mediums. Pierre Gasly starting in P8, however we are in P20 because we didn't do qualifying. So let's see what we can do.
Here we go then, the formation lap is underway ahead of today's sprint. Take their positions on the grid. The final preparations have been made, and all that's left is for the drivers to deliver on track.
So here we go, getting ready for the sprint race here in Miami. I have no expectations because I didn't do qualifying. Hopefully we can go from last to, I'd say, P5 or even a P4. Maybe if there's a situation like a red flag like there was in China in the previous episode, check it out by the way, then maybe we can secure a podium. However, we are starting from dead last onto the grid, so let's see what we can do. We've got a Haas, 2 Williams, another Haas and a Sauber ahead of us, so if we can try and clear those in the first lap or 2, we should be off to a good start as we get ready for the sprint race. Lights out and away we go here in Miami for the sprint. It's a decent start by us, good start by Verstappen in the Williams. We're going to try and go around the outside in towards turn 1. We're going to pick off Verstappen and also Alex Albon in the Williams in towards turn 2, and we've also picked off Guan Yu Zhou in the Kick Sauber as we now enter sector number 2 here in Miami. We've got Nico Hülkenberg ahead of us. I think that's Yuki Tsunoda and also Esteban Ocon as well. Ocon is he in the VCARB? I believe. Yeah, he is in the VCARB, so that's kind of weird to see Ocon in the VCARB. But anyway, we have overtaken Nico Hülkenberg and Haas, and now we're going to try and go down the inside in towards Valtteri Bottas. I will say that this car doesn't have straight line speed. It's mainly the setup. We went for a more stable rear end as far as this setup is concerned. However, I do notice it in the first laps of the actual full distance race as down the inside we go of Yuki Tsunoda into the VCARB in towards the chicane, and you're going to see quite a lot of moves heading in towards that chicane as we enter the end of the first lap. Yuki Tsunoda tries to dive down the inside, however we're going to pick off his teammate down the inside in towards the final corner into the hairpin, and that is P12 after the first lap. And we've made 8 positions on the first lap as we have a purple first sector. We're going to pick off Lando Norris into the McLaren, and he is bottling this race, kind of like how he's bottled this season, if you will. Now, Lance Stroll down the inside once again, late on the brakes, and that is P10. However, we do not score points for the top 10, it is the top 8. And as you can see, our teammate, Pierre Gasly, is ahead. Sainz leaves the door wide open. We kind of clip the wall there, but we do make the move stick. Now, on the end of lap 4, our teammate goes defensive. I don't know why he's going defensive. We're just going to be losing time. Yellow flags in sector 3, as it's wheel-to-wheel here between myself and also Pierre Gasly. Gasly's actually he's fighting back. He's actually pulled away slightly without DRS. However, we gain the inside line, and that is P7 for us here in the sprint. I think that yellow flag was caused by Oscar Piastri, and I think that McLaren is out of this race. I think Fernando Alonso has some kind of wing damage, so we're going to go down the inside in towards, what is that, number 6 or 7, right before the back straight. Lap number 9, Charles Leclerc has DRS from Sergio Perez. He goes defensive, so we're going to go around the outside of Charles Leclerc in towards the hairpin. We're going to pinch him on the curb, early shift in towards third gear, slightly lose the rear end. Leclerc is all over the curb, and because he was on the curb, we do gain 5th place here in the sprint. And now, as we transition in towards the final lap of this race, Sergio Perez is in P4, George Russell, Max Verstappen, and I believe, I don't know who the second place is. It's Lewis Hamilton. They're too far out of reach. However, we're going to go try and go around the outside in towards the final corner on Sergio Perez. It's going to be wheel to wheel. We're going to have the inside line for the final corner. It's going to be P4 here in the sprint race here in Miami. And that was a very decent drive from last to P4 on the grid.
It is driver versus stopwatch. It is a venue that is new to Formula One in recent years, but you have to dance the car to the edge. It is Miami, it is qualifying. Who will take the pole?
Now it's time to focus our thoughts from the sprint race to qualifying, and pretty much this corner right here is what cost us our first lap. Pretty much, I was running, as you can see, 9 laps of fuel, and I didn't realise that until later on in the session. But as you can see, we do a 25.8, and as you can see, 7 tenths away from Verstappen, who is on provisional pole. We do make the changes to the fuel, and now, as we approach the final lap with just over 40 seconds to go here in qualifying, we will be the last car to set a lap time on the grid in towards turn 1, stay to the left-hand side, down in towards third gear. Car wants to understeer. Early shift into 4th and then 5th gear for the best traction. And as you can already see, we are just over 2 temps up as we enter the quick S's here. Down, we don't downshift into 7th, into 5th gear that time. Into 6th, stay to the right and then flick the car onto the left. This car has slight understeer with the setup we have, which is a little bit different compared to what we usually run with the setups on F124. And as we enter the back straight, we are just over 4 temps up, so yeah, we need another second, I'd say, to get pole position, but it can be made or lost in the second sector. Stay to the right hand side, 3rd gear, watch out for the rear end of the car, 4th gear, then pretty much shift down in towards 2nd, absolutely abuse the apex. The car wants to really slide on the exit of that chicane, 3rd gear for the back straight, and as you can see, we have gained another 3 temps as we now enter the final hairpin. If we get this right, we should gain at least 5 temps, considering that we went wide on the previous lap. Brake pretty much at the 100 meter board, down into 2nd gear, early shift into 3rd for the best traction. Flick the car to the left. As you can see, we have gained nearly 5 temps. Overtake across the line we go, 29.4, and I believe that is pole position. Pole position here in Miami for the Miami Grand Prix. We did win here last season. As you can see, 16 thousandths of a second separate us and Max Verstappen. We were 2 temps clear of Sergio Perez, who is P3. That's kind of weird to see Perez in 3rd. Where is Gasly? Gasly's in 10th, but he will start 9th because Alonso has a 10-place grid penalty. Now, let's see if we can convert.
Formula One has arrived in the Sunshine State for spectacular sunsets, gentle breezes, warm waters, and for what will be a fantastic race day here at the Miami International Autodrome. With great opportunities for wheel-to-wheel battles featuring 19 corners, 3.36 miles long, and expected average speeds of 138 miles per hour, the Miami International Autodrome will be sure to create lots of chances to overtake. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Thomas lines up on pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Perez, Sainz, Russell, Oscar Piastri, Stroll, Hamilton, Gasly, Leclerc, Ocon, Albon, Norris, Fernando Alonso, Tsunoda, Joe, Bottas, Magnussen, Vesti, and Nico Hülkenberg rounds off the grid. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race. Welcome to the commentary box. I'm Alex Jakes, delighted to say that we're joined today by Anthony Davidson. Paddock chat earlier in the weekend that this driver had discussions with another team this week. How does that work from a driver's point of view?
Now, the good thing is for the driver that if you've potentially signed or had chats with a team that are going to further your career, that's all well and good. But the problem it immediately creates within your own team now is that potentially the team stop giving you inside information, and therefore you're not privy to that knowledge of where the car's going in terms of its future development.
So here we go in Miami for the Miami Grand Prix. We're on pole position by 16 thousandths of a second. I think we were on pole position last season. I don't know if that's right or not, but I think we were on pole last season. Strategy, I'm trying to figure out what the best strategy is. Of course, it's a one-stop, but as you can see, we lose a lot of time starting on the hards. So we're going to start on the mediums and then transition onto the hard tyres around lap 12. That gains us 3 thousandths of a second in race time. However, we are racing Verstappen for the win and maybe even Charles Leclerc. Everyone's on mediums, so that there's one thing to do. Let's race.
Here we go then. The formation lap gets underway and the excitement here is building as we near ever closer to the start of the race. Which team will come out on top? Who's got their strategies right for today's race? Well, we'll soon find out. So as all the cars take their positions on the grid, the teams will be hoping their strategies pay off for them in today's race. But the question I'm asking is which teams have got it right and which teams have got it horribly wrong?
Let's see if we can take the fight to the Red Bull of Max Verstappen here today. I think a podium would... I honestly don't know, but I think a podium is a minimum around here. Hopefully we can keep pace with Max Verstappen and also Sergio Perez if he gets us off the line, and maybe even Charles Leclerc as well. But a podium is the minimum today, and if we're lucky, maybe we can bounce back from the 2 DNFs with a win here today as we get ready for 5 red lights here in Miami, and is lights out and away we go for the Miami Grand Prix for Season 2 of the Alpine to Glory. Verstappen gets a good start, he's going to have the inside line in towards turn 1. We lose the back end there slightly, we do correct it, but Verstappen has taken the lead here in Miami. That's a costly mistake for us as we start this race. That's not what we wanted, and I don't know what happened there, just the back end just really stepped out. That's not really something that happens anymore on the F1 games where you lose the back end under braking, but clearly the rears, they definitely locked up. But yeah, we've lost the lead to Verstappen, and now our game plan is to try and break away from Sainz, Russell, Perez, and I believe Charles Leclerc as well in the Ferrari. If we can try and break away from that train, try and develop a gap of at least a second and a half, then hopefully we can try and get the win as we now transition onto lap 4. And as you can see, the gap between us and Sainz is 1.4 seconds. Sainz has also developed his own gap between him and George Russell of around about, I'd say, 2.3 seconds. So we are looking good here for a podium if we can try and just keep within Verstappen's range of DRS. And as you can see, Verstappen, he isn't breaking away, if you will. But we're not really closing him down. as we transition on towards lap 5. We do have the fast lap of the race, and we are keeping Verstappen at bay, so we're not really trying to burn our battery, we're just trying to stay with Verstappen, just trying to feel out the car in these early laps, as we do get our first race objective, overtake Max Verstappen before the end of lap 10. We've got 5 laps to try and do so, and as you can see later on lap 5, we've absolutely closed the gap to under, just over 0.2 of a second, and now with DRS, we're going to try and overtake. The one thing I don't want to do, I don't want to battle Verstappen too much to the point where we lose around about a second of lap time compared to Verstappen. And as you can see, Verstappen takes the lead right back. We fulfilled that objective as we've technically overtaken Max Verstappen. However, we try and think about moving on lap 6. We do make a little bit of contact there on his rear diffuser. However, there is no damage. But we are slowly starting to pull away from Carlos Sainz and also the pairing of Sergio Perez and also George Russell. Our setup, it's definitely more suited towards the second sector of the lap, especially towards that Mickey Mouse section of that chicane and then the left-hander as we go around the outside of Max Verstappen in towards the hairpin, but Verstappen does get a better exit, and I don't know why, just the car just definitely seems a little bit more unstable coming out of that hairpin. But yeah, I don't know if it's because of our brake bias setting, because it's on 53%, or if it's simply a setup issue, but we just can't get a decent exit. Yuki Tsunoda is out of the race. We're going to go try and go around the outside of Verstappen in towards, what is that, turn number 8? I think it is, and we go around the outside. We take the lead here in Miami for the first time this race properly, and now Verstappen is now all over us on lap 12, and this is really becoming a 2-horse battle for the win. Verstappen with DRS, we're going to try and hold it. Actually, do we hold it around the outside? No, we don't. We don't try and fight that much. But now, as we enter lap number 13, Verstappen is going defensive. We're going to do a late move down the inside, in towards the hairpin. Can we make the move stick? No, we don't. We actually brake really late. We nearly hit the wall, and Verstappen is now going through, as it's now going to be a battle of the pit lanes between us and Red Bull. This battle is far from over yet, and we just overshot it a little bit in towards the final corner, as we're now going to enter our box for our one and only stop from mediums to hards, and also Pierre Gasly is also in as well, so we're going to come out 2.5 second stop. Verstappen comes out just ahead of us, so that was man, we could have really got the jump on Verstappen there if we just didn't overshoot that final corner. But as you can see, who stays out? Vesti stays out, Guan Yu Zhou stays out, Oscar Piastri stays out as well. And now as we approach lap 14, everyone's in. I think Charles Leclerc's in, Lewis Hamilton might be in, Perez is in as well. So we will take the lead back. Well, we won't take the lead because we're in second place, but we will take second place back, and we will resume the battle for the lead of this race. And I have to say, I'm actually kind of comfortable at this stage in the race. I'm trailing Verstappen. I'm not really pushing as far as using my ERS battery. By the way, we do have a ERS objective to try and charge it to 79% before the lap of 18, and we do successfully do that. Verstappen goes defensive once again. He is charging his battery, so we're going to go try and go around the outside in towards the final corner, early shift into third. I have a slight wiggle there on the back end, but it's me versus Verstappen side by side in towards the final corner, the king of the final corner. We do set the fast lap of a 20 flat. However, Verstappen is going to try and now drag us in towards turn 1 here, side by side. The first time that me and Verstappen have had a battle all season long. It's still wheel to wheel as we go in towards turn number 3. Verstappen's going to have the outside line. We're going to try and hold it, but I don't think we can. And Verstappen is slightly just ahead as we enter the quick S sections of this racetrack, and there's still no way through as we now enter the final 10 laps, and the gap between us and George Russell is around about 11.5 seconds. We're going to go try and go down the inside once again of Verstappen. We do take the lead once again here in Miami. Now let's see if we can try and break away from Max Verstappen. We should be on the podium as long as we don't do anything stupid. However, Verstappen does get us back on the next lap. Lap number 25, we do get an objective. We passed that objective of a 32.4. I think that was a estimated lap time there, and we do get that. Now we are closing on towards the end of this race. Hopefully we can try and win this race. It's going to be all about timing. Verstappen locks up though in towards the final corner, and we retain the lead once again here in Miami. And this has been an all-out battle between us and Verstappen for the race win. However, Verstappen going to try and come back at us in towards turn 1. Can we hold it? Around the outside in towards 1, and we have the inside line for 2, but Verstappen is still there, and Verstappen once again gets better traction. Verstappen retains the lead here in Miami, and now over the next 2 laps, Verstappen he tried to push, and pretty much at the end of this race, Verstappen tried to get away, but we're just we're just there. Pretty much, we're going to hold it around the outside in towards Sector 2, and we once again take the lead right back from Max Verstappen as we enter the chicane there, and that was pretty much that. We do set a purple second sector as Verstappen is going to try and close us down on the final lap. He has DRS, however we are out of battery. Is this going to be a late move by Max Verstappen for the race win? He's not close enough, I don't think he is. He is not close enough. So as long as we have a decent exit of the final corner, we do. It's been a long and furious battle, but we win the Miami Grand Prix.
Yes, 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 guys, yes! Come on, boys! Oh, superb driving. That is the race win, my friend. Well done.
They've done it then. A truly magnificent win here at the Miami International Autodrome.
I mean, it looked like they were in a different category at points during the race, led every lap. I mean, what more can we say?
Here come today's winning drivers, and what a race this was. This is a team that knows success very well in F1, and they're just itching for even more. Congratulations to the Alpine team for their excellent win today.
I can't lie, the setup definitely didn't benefit straight line speed, but it definitely did benefit just the overall grip of the car as far as the slow sections of Sector 2 is concerned. We didn't have the traction to compete against Verstappen in towards the last corner, and also turns 1, and also the corner before the back straight. However, because of the fact that we were able to stick with Verstappen, we were able to get the jump on him when it mattered the most. We trailed him all race, and then we got him in the end. Our second victory of this season, 31 points, maximum points from the sprint race weekend. 5, well, I wouldn't say maximum points. We scored 5 in the sprint race, and then 26 in the main race. Gasly scored a P7, and that should help us in the constructors. Hamilton finished P3, Russell P4, Sainz P5, Norris 6th, Bottas in 8th. Wow. Bottas, Vesti, and Albon in the top 10. Wow. That's quite interesting. It turns out that Sergio Perez did have a spin on lap 26, and everyone lost around about 10 seconds. But there is the championship standings. We are tied with Lewis Hamilton on 77 points, 48 points behind Max Verstappen. We get a new ratings rival for Oscar Piastri. We are 1 rating behind him in the ratings rivalry. And now, as you can see with the individual ratings, none gets increased, but we do make major progress, especially on towards the focus. But that is that for episode 21 of the F1 24 Alpine to Glory series. Our recognition is staying the same. I don't know what we need to do to increase that. I don't know. I think we might need to just increase our focus or whatever. But yeah, level 3 on now pretty much everything as far as our specialists are concerned, and that is that. Thanks for watching episode 21 of the Alpine to Glory. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel for more F1 24 Alpine to Glory career mode content, and I'll see you in the next career mode video in a bit.